Right, this is a few even, I'm going to do 4 even problems from lesson 3. Since I did most of the evens from lesson 3, I'm not going to do them again. But at the end, these last problems are kind of hard, so I'm going to try doing those on videos. When we hit number 32, the directions say copy the figure, draw an altitude, find the length of the altitude, and find the area of the polygon. So here we go. The first thing they say to do is to draw an altitude. So I'm going to pick some orange, and I'm going to draw, that wasn't orange. I'm going to draw an altitude. Freehand altitude draw. So draw an altitude and then find the area of the figure. This is a parallelogram. You can tell because the sides are equal and they're not right angles, so it's not a rectangle. Once you know a parallelogram, to find the area, it's the height times the base. So we need to find this altitude right here before we can find the area of it. So let's see what we got. We have this is 120, this is 90. We need to know this angle right here. If you remember, if you have a quadrilateral, the two angles on the bottom add up to 180. So this one has to be 60. So we have, what we have here is our 30, 60, 90 triangle. We have the hypotenuse, the one opposite the right side. So let's draw our 30, 60, 90 triangle that we used in class. You know, not real good, but it's normal for me. This is our 30, this is our 60, and of course that's our 90. We always start with the 30-degree side. So if we know this is 30, we'll call this one X. The hypotenuse, the one opposite the 90-degree side, is 2 times whatever the one opposite the 30-degree side is. And the one opposite the 60 is the side opposite the 30 times the square root of 3. So it's X times the square root of 3. Now we're good to go. We have the hypotenuse, so we have the 2x part. So I can say 2x part equals 16. So we know that x equals 8, and x is the one opposite the 30. So this one is going to be 8 right here. And then we still need to figure out this one, and that one is whatever the 30-degree one is. The 30-degree one is x times the square root of 3. So it's going to be 8 times the square root of 3 is the height. Now when we find the area is the base, which this whole thing is 25, by the way. 25 times 8 square root of 3. So our final answer to this one is 200 square root of 3. There's no unit, so you don't have to have units in your answer. Okay, 34. Draw an altitude. Well, the only place to draw an altitude is right down here. So I'm going to draw my altitude, and I'm going to form a rectangle because we're going to have 4 right angles. They're given this is 45. So if we know this is 90, then we know this one here is 45. In order to find the area of this one, we're going to find the area of the triangle and the area of the rectangle. So for both of those, we're going to need the altitude, because we're going to need to know this side. For the rectangle, it's going to be side times side. And to find the triangle, it's going to be base times height divided by 2. So we also need to know this. But since this is our 45, 45, we know that this one equals this one. So when we find one, we're going to find the other one. Let's draw our little example triangle. So here we have our 45, 45, 90. If this is the side and this is the side, because they would be the same, 45, 45, 90. The hypotenuse is whatever the side is times the square root of 2. So we have the hypotenuse and we want to find the side, so we can set that equal to the hypotenuse equals 9 square root of 2. So we're going to get the side is equal, if we divide both sides by the square root of 2, is equal to 9. So we have our sides are 9. They're both going to be the same. Now we have everything we need to know to find the area. First we'll find the area of the triangle. Let's see where I did these problems. So the area of our triangle, so of this triangle is going to be 9 times 9 divided by 2, and that's going to give us 40.5. That's the area of the triangle. And then we're going to find the area of the rectangle. This is 9, and you can see that it's a rectangle, so the opposite side is going to be the same as the top one. So it's going to be 9 times 7, which is 63. And if we add that to 40.5, we get the area of that whole figure is 103.5. Two more. These next two have different directions. Let's see. Let's have to make new triangles. The directions for 36 and 38 say find the length of all the other sides, of all the sides. The first one, I accidentally erased it. This one is supposed to be a 6. So let me check that. Okay, so we have to find all the other sides. Best thing to do typically is to draw an altitude in there. So once we did that, we know this is 90, this is 45, so this one has to be 45. This is 90, this one's 30. If we subtract 90 and 30 from 180, this one's going to be 60. We have the hypotenuse, so we know that the side opposite the 30-degree angle is half the hypotenuse, or we know the hypotenuse is 2 times this side. So this one's going to be a 3. Let me write this real quick. This is 30, 60, 90. This is X. You should know this like the back of your hand because you're going to quiz on it next week, and it's so good to know this for the SAT. So this is X. The hypotenuse is 2 times X, and the side opposite the 60 degree is whatever the side opposite 31 is, times the square root of 3. So we can get this side right down here. It's going to be whatever the one opposite the 30 is, times the square root of 3. So this is going to be 3 square root of 3. Okay, let's get our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Told you all my right triangles look the same. Just have to go with what I write on them. So this is side, 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 square root of 2. So we know this side is 45, 45. We know that this side is the same as this side. Well, that's pretty easy. So if this side is 3, this side is 3. And we need to get this side, it's going to be whatever the side is times the square root of 2. So our sides are, this long side is just going to be 3 square root of 3 plus 3. This side is 3 square root of 2, and then they gave us that side. Alright, one more, 38. I found this one to be kind of tricky. My first inclination for this one was to draw an altitude down here, but that doesn't work. Maybe it does, maybe you can figure it out. The best thing for this one, this is 30, this is 120, so that adds up to 150, and so we have 30 left. So this angle right here is 30. So what that tells us is this side is the same as that side. So this one is going to be 10 as well. That's interesting. Then all we have to do is find the hypotenuse. It's not a right triangle, so you can't do 10 squared plus 10 squared equals c squared. You can only do that if it's a right triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in I'm going to draw a 90-degree angle from here. Check this out. 90 degrees. And what we're going to have is this is going to be 90. So if this is 90, this is 30. This one right here has to be 60. That one has to be 60. And then if this is 30 and this is 90, then this one has to be 60. So we have 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. So we're just going to use our 30, 60, 90 degree triangle formula kind of thing. So if this side is 10, it's not the one opposite the 30-degree angle though, it's the hypotenuse. So the one opposite the 30-degree one is going to be half the hypotenuse, so this one's going to be 5. You can see these are the same. This is 10 and 5, 10 and 5, so whatever this is, it's going to be the same as this one, despite my drawing. So this side, the one opposite the 60, is whatever the one opposite 30 is, 5 times the square root of 3, and this one's going to be 5 times the square root of 3. There might be other ways to do this. And so this side right here is going to be 10 square root of 3. And so we have all of our sides, 10, 10, 10 square root of 3. So hopefully that helped. If you need more problems answered from lesson 3, please put it on the help board and I'll try to get right on it. I'm going to do more even problems will be up by Monday for lesson 4.